morning. Good morning. Good morning. Rise and shine, rise and shine, rise and shine. This is your morning motivation. This is your next level motivation. Coming to you live from Jacksonville, Florida. We have our episode 19. Can you believe that? 19 already. How fast time fly. Good morning, Ms. Julia. Hopefully you received your book. Did you receive it yet? And if so, did you get started with it already? You probably finished it already. I told you it's not a big book. But have you done all the exercises at the end as well? Make sure you do that, because I think they'll really start to open up and really allow the book to come alive to you. So good morning, Ms. Sita Walker as well. As you guys coming on, do me a favor, hit the share button if you can. Just let other people know that you're on. I want to welcome you guys. Here we are in episode 19. Next level motivation, principles for living life to the fullness. Make sure you get your copy. You can get your copy on Amazon. As I said, during this time, it's only going to be $10.95. Okay, just to get your copy, I'll sign it and I'll send it right to you as well. So as we pick up from where we left off yesterday, if you're just joining us and this is your first time, remember this book was inspired, written in 4.5 days. Okay, with the opportunity, with the mindset, and the whole purpose of allowing people to have a motivational manual, something to walk their journey out, something to teach them a little bit more and introduce them back to themselves. And as they're introduced back to themselves, they can actually then live from the inside out. And so again, it's small but yet powerful when you apply it. And so again, we've been going through chapter 3. We're still on chapter 3. We're at the end of chapter 3, and the chapter 3's title was You're Designed for Success. We've been talking about the mind. We've been talking about all the different components of the intellectual faculty so you can live to the fullness. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how powerful something is. If you don't know how to apply it, if you don't have the awareness of it, then it does you no good. So here we go. We're going to pick up with chapter 3. We're going to talk a little bit about, go back into the questions. So if you wanted to go, good morning, Mr. Don Davey, Mr. Triathlon, Mr. Ironman. He can definitely tell you a little bit about this in terms of, my man Don, just real quick, played with Jaguars, man. He went on to do a lot of great things in the lives of people for financial freedom, and he has a company. But even beyond his time in the NFL, he went on to do the Ironman triathlon. Man, think about that. That's 112-mile bike ride. That's like 3-mile swim in the ocean, and 26.1 mile run. I mean, that's amazing. In order to do that, I'm sure he can definitely tell you, you had to understand, you had to utilize more than just your sight, your taste, your touch, your sound, okay? your feel. You had to go into your mind. You had to utilize, your imagination, see yourself finishing. You had to, develop your willpower, overcome it. I'm sure he felt like giving up at times. I'm sure he felt like quitting. I'm sure he felt like, man, my body's hurting, my body's screaming, but yet his mind is still moving him forward. I'm sure he had to use his perception where, again, he looked at a situation and he's like, you know what, man, it's two ways to look at this same situation where I want to choose the way that helps me move forward. And so, again, I want to celebrate and congratulate Don for his great accomplishment in that chapter of his life as he's continuously journeying it out. So here we are in chapter 3. I'm going to ask you some questions at the end of this book, at the end of chapter 3, and we'll kind of go from there, okay? So here's one of the questions right here. It says, do you tend to see the cup of your life half empty or half full? Do you tend to see the cup of your life half empty or half full? You see, remember, if you was with me all week and last week, you understand that that's talking about your perception. That talk about how do you view your situations? How do you view life? When it rains outside, what do you say? What do you typically say? What's your go-to? Oh man, it's raining again. But understanding that if you were to use your perceptive skills, then you'll not only see that not only does rain come and now you can't do some things, but rain has a tremendous amount of power and ability and purpose of why it comes. Well, it comes to clean things up. It comes to start things new. It comes to water the grass and water other things. It comes to continue the circle of life that's needed. Imagine if it didn't rain. Imagine what would happen to the crops. Imagine what would happen to the flowers. Imagine what would happen to the things that we look at that are so beautiful. See, what if it didn't rain? The flowers that you love to smell, the flowers that you love to admire just in their color, and their beauty and their essence. If it didn't rain, what would happen? They will wither away. And so same thing in life. There's times that there's things in your life that although you look, they're here in your life, they may not be as comfortable at the moment, but they're actually here to take you to the next level. They're actually here to help you to beautify yourself. Just as the rain comes and certain things stay out of the way, stay in the house, and yet other things are still growing, so is the same thing for you. In life, there's some things that's going to be coming in your life that you're going to need, that you may not understand at the purpose, or it calls you to do some different things. But because it's there, it's actually producing, developing, cultivating, and building something else. So when you look at your life, is your life half empty? You know, do you tend to look at things half empty or half full? Your perception of skills will determine how you view life. And beyond how you view life, it'll determine what you do. And so that's number 5. That's the question, okay? Number 5, it says, okay, how do you see your cup half full? How can changing your perceptive skills improve your level of expectation? Well, we just talked about that. If I learn to change my perspective and perceive things differently, then how does that improve my level of expectation? Then that basically means that, you know, when something happens, I can see it differently. Here's something I shared with individuals a couple weeks ago. You know, when you look at your life and you look at adversity, you look at things that you're not really expecting or, you know, are really not as convenient. When bad things happen in your life, what is your go-to? Well, here's one of the things I want you to start to think about. I want you to choose this filter, choose this perspective. Think about a space shuttle, right? A space shuttle going out to outer space. You see, on that space shuttle, when those astronauts are on there and they're all buckled in and they're sitting behind the most powerful engines and most powerful vehicles in the world. When they go to travel and they're going out of space, after they do liftoff and they count down and lift off, the amount of G-forces that's coming against them as they're going traveling to get out of space is tremendous. I'm sure that as they travel and as they're in the first environment here, the first atmosphere, before they get all the way up there, there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of tension. Matter of fact, they often say, and if you hear documentaries of it, they'll say that that shuttle, that spacecraft starts to rattle. And once they get into the atmosphere, right before it gets outside into outer space, it heats up a whole lot. There's a lot of tension. There's a lot of rattling. And I'm sure that those astronauts, while they're on there, although they've trained in simulators, although they've done all this stuff, although they know what they're to expect, I'm sure while they're going through that moment, they get nervous. They get scared. And they also start to question things. They start to question if they did enough. They start to question if the people who made the space shuttle did everything. Did they screw everything together? Did they seal off everything? You see, in those moments while they're going through the toughest part, they're going through the biggest pressure, the biggest squeeze, the hottest time, they question things. And there can be doubt as well. But here's what they don't do. When the heat turns up, when the shuttle starts to rattle, they don't turn around and abort ship. They don't just say, man, forget this. They don't allow their fear to dictate what they do. They don't allow their concern or their nervousness or uncertainty to determine what they do. But what do they keep doing? They stay buckled in. They stay buckled in and they keep going. And then here's the blessing of your perspective and your perception. By them staying inside of that space shuttle, by them staying according to the mission, after a little bit of time, after a season of them going through that atmosphere with all the heat, with all the pressure, with all the rattling, after a while they get into outer space. And when they get into outer space and there's no gravity, this is what they start to realize. This is why we took the trip. This is why we went through all the pressure. This is why we went through and endured all the G-forces that was against us. This is why, even in the midst of all the pressure and the heat and everything that came against us that we didn't understand, this is why we endured the pain to get to the outer space experience. You see, there may be somebody here that's watching me this morning. You may be feeling like that. You may be just like that space shuttle. You may be on the ground about to take your journey. And you may be nervous. You may be scared. You may be doing something that you've never done before. But you're in a shuttle. You're in a shuttle. You're buckled in. You may be on the journey where the G-forces are coming against you, where everywhere you look in your life, it seems like something against you. There's pressure to perform, pressure to do this. There's pressure all around you, your mind, your physical body, your job, your children, your family, your friends, your church, whatever it is. You feel all this pressure. Or you may be in business as an entrepreneur, or have a venture, or have a side job, or something that you're doing, and you just feel all this pressure, and it doesn't seem like anything is going right from what you see. But instead of giving up, my encouragement to you is stay in, stay buckled in, stay in the journey. Don't turn around. Keep going. Because if and when you keep going, you'll experience what that astronaut experiences. You'll then break into the outside of the Earth's atmosphere, and you'll then break into outer space where you'll see, wait a minute, it was all worth it. The pain was worth it. The trouble was worth it. The uncertainty was worth it. The discouragement was worth it. The heat was worth it. Okay, the tension, it was worth it. This is why I'm on this trip. This is why I took the journey. This is why I endured it. And just like those astronauts get into outer space, and then they can turn off the engines. They can turn it off, and then now they can just float. And they can be guided by the weightlessness of the outer space, and they can go do what they were meant to do. I say to you today, no matter what you've been through, you may be like that space shuttle. You may be like those astronauts that is cruising to outer space. Keep going. Because after a while, this too will pass. After a while, this season will come to a pass. No matter how cold it is in the wintertime, you don't throw away your summer clothes. Why? Because no matter how cold it is in the wintertime, springtime is always coming. And so I don't know, who is this encouragement to today? If this encouragement to you, if this message is current to you, type of 1. Let me know who I'm speaking to today, who may be on that journey. My encouragement to you, through your perceptive skills, you can now see beyond the pressure. It allows you to see beyond the pain. It allows you to see beyond the hurt, see beyond the tension, to see to the glorious destination. It's all worth it. But if you give up, if you turn around, or if you continuously focus on the tension, the heat, the hurt, the pain, the discouragement, and you don't allow yourself to see beyond that, to where am I really doing this? And so I say to you, whenever you're in the midst of adversity, whenever you're in the midst of tension, the season or whatever, here's what I want you to do. I want you to understand that tension that those astronauts felt, they had to have that in order to experience the outer space experience. So that means this now. That means whenever you find yourself in a tough situation, I want you to rejoice now. I want you to get excited now. I want you to celebrate. Why? Because the very presence of that now is the indicator that your breakthrough is right on the other side. The very presence of the heat, the adversity, the conflict, the discouragement, the put down, the very presence of it doesn't mean that you did something wrong. Doesn't mean that it's all going downhill. Let it mean now, perspective, your perception. Let it mean now. Let it be defined now that the very presence of this, because of this, then that. Because of this, then that. So watch this. Because I'm in pressure, tension, conflict, discouragement, because of this, it means this now. It means I'm just like that space shuttle. I am on the cusp, and it's right here. That's what I want you to do. That's the mindset. That is that you're utilizing your perception to see things the way you need to see them so you can have it the way you want to have it. And so listen, man, as you go throughout the day, man, remember this. You're created, you're designed for success. Chapter 3 was called You're Designed for Success. And that's one of the questions at the end. This is the power of your perception. It's the power of the very intellectual faculties you have. But it does you no good if you don't know how to use it. It does you no good if you have it and you don't use it. You know what potential is? Potential is defined as untapped ability. That means you haven't tapped it yet. You haven't explored it yet. So it's doing you no good at the moment. Sure, it's giving you a barometer of what you can accomplish and where you can be and all this stuff. But if you're not doing nothing about it, it does you no good. Instead of just potential, you know what you want? You want manifested ability. That means you want that ability to be manifested. You want it to be shown. You wanted it to have results. You wanted it to take effect. That's what you want. So today, may you manifest your ability in every area of your life. May today be the day that you utilize your imagination, your memory, your will, your intuition, your perceptive skills, okay, your reasoning skills. May you use those today to get you where you need to go. Listen, you're designed for success. God calls you a masterpiece. He says, no good thing will I withhold from you. He says, it's my pleasure to give you the kingdom and everything else you need. He says when you seek God and his righteousness, mean right standing with him, that means you're legal in his court because of what Christ did. He said, guess what? He said everything you need will be added to you. As you're walking, it will be added to you. You ain't got to go chasing it. It's going to be added to you. But you got to walk forward. He said, well, how do I know where to walk? What is the voice on the inside telling you to do? What is your internal GPS telling you what to do? What is your intuitive factors telling you to do? As you're walking, he says, as you're going, I'll add to you. And so may today be a day of encouragement to you today, for you today. May today be a day where you manifest the ability that you never manifested before. May today be the day that you trust the God that's on the inside of you to do exceedingly abundantly above all you can ever dare ask or think or even imagine. May that be today. I'm here to tell you, to encourage you to do that. Let this be today. Let this be your present. Let this be your gift. Let today be the present, which it is. And so listen, man, if you guys like these messages, you're encouraged by it, do me a favor. If you're going to apply this today, if you're going to grow as you walk forward today, do me a favor. Type a 2. Type a 2 today. Let me know. If you have not got your book yet, remember, you still got time while I'm still doing this reading. Okay, definitely go check it out. Next Level Motivation, Principles for Living Life to the Fullness on Amazon. Go pick up your copy as well so you can kind of get ahead, right? And then you can start to apply the stuff. Listen, I really appreciate you guys. Thank you. I love you, man. Listen, I love you to life. I love you not because you did anything. There's no reason why I love you. I love you just because you are who you are. You are my brother. You are my sister. You are the one that I need. In life, we're codependent, interdependent, and interconnected. I need you. Like Ezekiel Walker says in his song, I need you to survive. You give me the very platform in which I get a chance to share my gifts and my talents. And I want to reciprocate that. And I want us to walk in life together. And so listen, man, you be good. You be blessed today. Have an awesome, awesome, awesome day. Love you guys to life, man. Don't forget to post your comments, subscribe, and share all that good stuff. All right. Y'all have a blessed, blessed, and wonderful day. Peace out.